Hey guys, this is the first video notes for chapter 2, so solving linear equations. So I'm going to try to go through this more quickly. I tried to record it before it went too long. So this is the first thing we got to talk about, adding or subtracting a number from both sides on an equation. So, like this equation right here, x minus 2 equals 5. If you add 2 to both sides, you will get x equals 7. Alright? X minus 2 plus 2 is x plus 0. That goes away, and you're just left with x. 5 plus 2 is 7. So we found the value of the variable, which is the x, and it's 7. Notice both sides means both sides of this wall. The wall is the equal sign. Everything over to the left is the left side, over to the right is the right side. Don't try to divide it in the wrong spot. If you add 2 to the x and 2 to the negative 2, you're actually adding 4 to the left side and adding nothing to the right side, which is messing everything up, because you've got to add the same thing to both sides. And that's both sides of the equal sign, like I just said. Why? Well, you can think of it this way. If you add something just to this side, like say I added 2 to that side, but didn't add it over here, my equation, both sides were equal, so it was nice and balanced. Now this side is heavier, and it doesn't balance anymore. Let me show you another example. So let's say you have x plus 2 equals 4. Okay, so let's see, these yellow little boxes are 1 pound each, and the green box you don't know, but you know that x plus 2 1 pound little boxes will balance perfectly with 4 1 pound boxes. So you know they're equal weights because the balance is perfectly balanced, the scale. So if I just took off these two, that would make this side go down because they're not balanced anymore. So to keep it balanced, I'll take off the same amount from each side. So it should still be perfectly balanced, because this x and these two must be equal. So in equation form, that'd be x plus 2 equals 4. Then I'd subtract 2 from both sides and get x equals 2. Alright, so whatever you do to the one side, you've got to do to the other side. Okay, let's say I had 2x equals 4. Well, I can't subtract the same thing from both sides exactly this time, but there is still something I can do. I could say, well, x plus, if I take away half of this side and take away half of that side, it should still balance. So x must equal 2. So that's the next little section. So we can multiply or divide both sides by a number. So this example right here, if I have a half x equals 23, I could double both of those, so multiply both sides by 2, and get x equals 46. I did the same thing to both sides, so it's still equal. So you got to multiply or divide both sides by the same number. Both sides means the entire left side and the entire right side. So let me show you really quick with this. So let's say I have x plus 1 on this side, and I have 3 on this side. If I want to double both of those, 3 would become 6, and x plus 1 would become x plus 2. Okay? So you have to double the x and the 1. So let me show you on that equation over here. So this one I'm dividing, actually. I had 5x plus 10 equals 30 plus 20. I said, oh, that all divides by 5. So I'll simplify things by dividing the left side of the equation by 5 and the right side. But you have to remember, you're dividing the whole left side by 5 and the whole right side by 5. Okay, so don't just divide part of it and leave the other one alone. You got to divide all the terms, okay, on either side. We'll talk more about that later. Okay, examples. Okay, first one, 5x equals 35. Divide both sides by 5 because 5 times x, to get rid of multiplying by 5, will divide by 5. Because 5 divided by 5 will give us 1x. 35 divided by 5 is 7, so we got x equals 7. This one, same idea. Smiley face plus 17 equals 21. The opposite of adding, or the inverse of adding, I should say, is subtracting. So subtract 17 from both sides, and we will get smiley face plus 0 equals 4. 21 minus 17 is 4. So smiley face equals 4. The 17 minus 17 is 0. Okay. Notice we're always doing the same thing to both sides. So this one, negative 4 star equals negative 24. And notice I wrote a little multiply sign because whenever you have a variable right next to the number, it's multiplying. And so I divided by both sides by negative 4 because negative 4 divided by negative 4 will just give me 1 times star. And negative 24 divided by negative 4 is 6. Negative divided by negative is always a positive, remember? Okay, next one. Okay, so I started off with just 1/2 x equals 70. I said, well, I want to know what x is. So I doubled both sides, or multiplied both sides by 2. And 2 times 1/2 x is 1x. 2 times 70 is 140. So I got x equals 140. Alright. X minus 4 equals 11 minus 3. So on this one, next one too, I noticed, oh, I can simplify this part before I start messing around with other stuff. So I'll just add 11 plus 3 is 14. That's all that I did. Now I can say, let's add 4 to both sides and get x all by itself and see what x equals. So add 4, x plus 0 equals 18. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. 14 plus 4 is 18. So we got x equals 18. So this one, first, I multiplied 3 times 2 is 6. Then I said 13 minus 6, I can do that. That would be 7. Okay, now I'm going to subtract both sides, 4 from both sides, to get that h. And you get h equals 3. So you notice I'm writing out each little step clearly and neatly and showing every little step. And that's what you should do. If you try to skip too many steps or do everything in your head, you will make a mistake. You'll put a positive instead of a negative somewhere or something. You don't want to do that. So just be careful and show all the little details. Okay. So on this one, you can see I had 5x equals 16 plus x. I wrote in a little 1 because x is really 1x, right? And the reason I did that is because now I'm going to subtract x, or really subtract 1x from both sides. Why? So this one, you might have noticed at the beginning, it's got x over here and x over there. You haven't seen that before, possibly. So just treat it just like if it was a number. I've got x's over here and x's over here. I want to put them together. All right. So I'll subtract x so that this goes away. There's no more x's over on that side, but all the x's are combined over on that side. So I got 5x minus x is 4x. 16 just stays there, and x minus x is 0. So then I can do just like I was on the other side, divide both sides by 4, and get x equals 4. Okay. So number H now. So I wrote in a 1 there again because it's 1 smiley face, right? 18 minus 1 smiley face equals 2 smiley faces. If I add 1 smiley face to both sides, then all the smiley faces will be together and they'll be happy. So negative 1 smiley face plus 1 smiley face is 0. No smiley faces left over here, but this over here will become 3 smiley faces. So 18 equals 3 smiley faces. Divide both sides by 3. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 3 smiley faces divided by 3 is 1 smiley face. So we got smiley face equals 6. Okay. These two, I and J, are actually the same problem, but I did it different ways. Okay, so you can look at both of them together for a second if you want. Okay, so my approach on this one, I said there's an x there and there are 3 x's over there. I want to get all the x's together. So subtract x from both sides, and that will simplify it so I don't have x's in different places. So just subtracting x from each side, 3x minus x was 2x, 11, negative 4, both just stayed there. X minus x gave me 0. So I was just left with 4 equals 11 plus 2x. I subtracted 11 from both sides, did the same thing I was doing on the other side, and got negative 7.5. Okay, now J, it's the same problem, I just did the middle steps in a little different way, but I got the same answer. So I added 4 to both sides first because I wanted to get rid of that minus 4, and that simplified things. I got x equals 15 plus 3x, and then I tried to get the x's together, and same idea, and got negative 7.5. So no matter what you do, you should get the same answer in the end. Just combine the variables if they're in different places, put them together, put the numbers that are in different spots together, combine those, and get the x's on the opposite side from the numbers by themselves, and then just keep going till you get x all by itself. Alright, these last 2 examples I'm just going to let you copy down, and this sentence at the bottom of your notes. So I'll just say one thing real quick on here. B plus a half a B would be 1.5 B, or you could say 3/2 B. I then multiplied that by 2/3 to get rid of that fraction.